Hey everyone, it's Kenny Vosick, and today I'll be doing a one-year update on my 2022 Lexus NX350 Sport. So in this video, I want to go ahead and highlight my likes and dislikes on this vehicle since owning it for a year, and I also want to compare it to the new 2023 RX that just came out and share my thoughts versus this car and the new car as well. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, since owning this car, I've already put 23,000 miles on here, so I've definitely been driving this car a lot. I've had many drives to Dallas and Austin, so it's definitely served its purpose for being a road trip car. Now, when I did lease this car, I did buy a 15K mile year lease, which I've driven well past now. So my goal with this car now is to eventually buy out my lease within the next 2 years and then eventually pay it off and keep it. This car pretty much has everything I've ever wanted on an NX. It's an F-Sport luxury with the ultrasonic blue mica exterior, so I don't see a reason why I would upgrade to another car unless I got another color or if I got the new RX, which I'll go over later in this video. So the reason I got this car was because I wanted the new technology that was on this car, the wireless Apple CarPlay, and all the other options that this car had that my 2016 NX didn't. So since owning this car, I've had so many compliments and attention just from people that noticed the car because it is a new redesign from Lexus, and eventually the whole Lexus lineup will be revamped to reflect the new body style that's going to be out soon. So let's go ahead and go over some of my likes and dislikes on this vehicle. Now, I love that this vehicle features the new digital latch system that debuted on this model. It's pretty easy to use. All you have to do is touch behind the door handle and then you simply use that to open the door. Same thing on the inside. All you have to do is push on the handle and that will open the door for you as well. The only thing I don't like about this is that I'm always having to explain anyone that rides in the car with me that you have to push the handle instead of yanking it or trying to grab something. It takes some getting used to, so that's really the only thing, and that's pretty minor. Now, this car also has the upgraded 17-speaker Mark Levinson audio system, which was a must, so I do love using that. It's been great having that in the car. And my car has the upgraded black sport bucket seats that are on the Sport package. Now, I really wanted red, and of course I would have had to wait longer for that, so I settled with black, and I really don't mind these actually. It's actually pretty easy to keep this interior clean. I will say that the sport seats are a little bit more firm for my taste compared to the normal seats that are on the regular NX350 or on the luxury package. So if I were to change that, I would have probably add a little bit more cushion on the F-Sport seats at least. And as you can see, I did add my Lexus illuminated scuff plates, which were not here before. They were the regular F-Sports scuff plates that were not illuminated, and I added these later. All right, we'll go ahead and get in here and check out a couple things. Now, this is my steering wheel on the vehicle, so if your vehicle has the heads-up display, it's going to have all the controls that you have right here to see information on your heads-up display. The controls that are on the left side of the steering wheel are all used for your Bluetooth, your audio controls, and your voice command, and the controls on the right side of the steering wheel are all used for your radar cruise control functions on the vehicle. So it's pretty easy to use. I do like having this here. It makes it simple and it's not too complicated to understand. I will say that when using the Apple CarPlay for navigation, such as Google Maps, it won't actually show the directions on the actual heads-up display. It will only show the directions for Waze or Apple Maps. I don't know if that's a Google thing or a Lexus thing, but it would have been nice to have the directions integrated on the actual heads-up display instead of just the screen when you're using Apple CarPlay. But that's pretty minor. Another thing I will mention is that if you wear polarized sunglasses, it will be hard for you to see the heads-up display on here. That's one thing I've heard from customers just from who bought this vehicle. They said that they were having to take off their glasses just so they can see the heads-up display. So I don't really have this issue. None of my sunglasses are polarized, so I just use regular Ray-Bans. So that's been fine with me. Now, I'll also go over my gas mileage on the vehicle. So I've been averaging about 22 miles per gallon, which isn't great, but isn't bad. I would have expected better on this vehicle, but I always drive this vehicle in Sport S Plus, so that's probably why. And I also have a heavy foot, so that's probably contributing to my gas mileage on the vehicle. So it would have been nice to get at least 30 miles per gallon, but I know this vehicle isn't a hybrid. It would have been nice if Lexus offered a hybrid version on the F-Sport package, but they still have yet to come out with that on the NX. So hopefully in the future, they'll have an NX350H F Sport hybrid. And if they do, I'll definitely get that one in the future. Alright, so let's go ahead and go over this screen. Now, this is the upgraded 14-inch display that includes the wireless Apple CarPlay and the new Lexus interface. So, it's actually received a lot of feedback, both good and bad. Personally, I haven't experienced any major issues with this system other than the CarPlay crashing, but that was when this system first came out. There were a lot of little glitches that Lexus had to sort out at first because it was a new interface and everyone had to figure out how to work this correctly. Now, I will say that the first few issues that were out on this vehicle were pretty minor. It said that the guest profile was on the vehicle screen, and that's simply because the key wasn't linked to the vehicle correctly, which is a minor fix. If you go into settings and you go over into, see if it's under personal info. Okay, so you always make sure that you link the key. This will link your user profile with the vehicle. That way it knows it's you, and it can attach any information including presets, seat position, and so always make sure that's enabled. Otherwise, it'll say guest profile on the screen. Now, another thing I want to mention is that anytime, let's say you are trading in a vehicle with Lexus interface, you always want to make sure that you clear the screen of any previous users on the screen before you transfer it to a new owner. That's important because we've run into this issue where some people have already traded in their NXs, and we've had people where all their previous information was stuck on the car and we couldn't actually remove it unless we had the guest remove it from their phone or from the Lexus database. So if you go into, let's see if it's in here, info and security. If you do a system reset, this will remove anything on the vehicle, including user profiles and all other information. That way it starts out with the new screen, like you're buying this car brand new. So that's something you should know if you ever do decide to trade into another car. That way all your information is not stuck on the interface system. Alright, now of course the CarPlay system works great. I use my Google Maps, Apple Maps, and Waze. Now I have my work phone on here, so not all my apps are going to show up on here, but it's been great using this. I haven't really had many issues with this, and since Lexus does come out with periodic updates on the actual interface, it minimizes all the crashes and other issues that you'd probably be experiencing in the vehicle. And actually, let me show you where that is. If I go under software update, mine says no update available because mine is up to date to the latest software. If you do happen to find that your vehicle is eligible for an update, it will show up on here, and then you can update your system to the latest version. It's like when Apple comes out with iOS updates. That's basically what this is as well. We also recommend that if you're having issues with your CarPlay, always make sure that your iOS software is up to date on your phone. That will also influence how it's played out in the car, so that's something I'd recommend to you guys as well. Alright, so we'll go ahead and go over a couple things in here. I haven't really used the Wi-Fi hotspot in the vehicle. I don't really think I need that for anything. And then if I go under vehicle customization, I'm also able to customize the heads-up display in here, so I can use the brightness and position to adjust it for there. Now I can adjust it through the steering wheel, but only if I want to move it up or down. And that's really the only option it gives me on the actual heads-up display. But if I want to go ahead and change the actual brightness, then I'd have to do that through here. And that's pretty easy to do if you wanted to do that. Now, when we went to the training course in Houston for the launch event on the NX, they were saying that you're able to customize the buttons on a steering wheel, so you can have like your AC controls or etc. on the steering wheel. That's a little bit advanced for me, so I just kept with the normal controls that were default from the factory. So I don't plan to change that anytime soon. Now, another cool thing I want to go over is the ambient lighting in the vehicle. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to wait for it to get dark so I can show you how this looks at night. Okay guys, let's go ahead and take a look at the ambient lighting in my NX. Now keep in mind this feature is only available as an option if you have the upgraded 14-inch display touchscreen. If you have the smaller 9.8-inch screen, it's not going to have this option, so you need to have the bigger screen if you have this option. So let's go through all the themes that are available in the vehicle. Alright, and I'll go ahead and show you what these look like on here. So this is daylight white, silky white, warm white, sunset, dawn, lightning, bamboo, rainforest, iceberg, waterfall, heat blue, meteor, afterglow, and flare red. Now, if you notice, it lights up on the trim, your door handle, your footwell, and your wireless charging pad. I would say that it looks pretty good in here when the lighting is on. It's kind of faint in my opinion. I wish it was a little bit brighter like on the new RX, or even how Mercedes-Benz has it kind of like in your face with kind of the strobe lights. It would have been nice to have at least a little bit more customization. It's nice that they gave you more themes that you can choose from, so if you didn't like the presets that were on here, you can kind of drag your finger on the color wheel and then you can choose a custom color that's on this list. The only thing that I don't care for is that you can't actually change it as you're driving, but you can only do it if you do a voice command through the Lexus system. Hey Lexus.
What do you want to do?
Change ambient lighting to flare red.
Setting ambient lighting to flare red.
All right, there we go. And I guess this works if you're driving because you can't actually use the screen. So in a way, it kind of is a way around that if you kind of know what you're doing. So in other words, I really do like the ambient lighting system in the vehicle. Could it be brighter? Yes. I wish it was as bright as the RX, and I also wish that they allowed you to have a little bit more customization with the color options so you can have multiple colors as you're driving, but it's nice that they at least included this on this model. So I'd give it an 8 out of 10. All right, now below that we have our heated and cooled seats for the driver and passenger, as well as the heated steering wheel. All right, guys, as we move down here, we do have our USB-A and C charging port, and then we also have our upgraded wireless charging pad. Now, surprisingly, this isn't standard on all NXs. For 2023, I actually ran into a NX Luxury that didn't even have this as an option, which was kind of bizarre. But I will say that it doesn't charge the phone very fast, especially if you have a big bulky case, because that will actually slow it down and drain the battery more. So I always recommend taking off any cases and placing your phone on there to ensure that you have the best connection. So that's really all I have to say about that. Of course, you have additional storage that's in here, so you can put anything that you want in there as well. Here's a dial for the drive mode select. I do drive the vehicle in Sport S Plus because that's typically where I can get the extra, sportiness. And when I put my foot on the accelerator, it's a little bit more responsive when I'm driving. Hardly drive the vehicle in eco mode unless I have less than 15 miles of range, which is not very often. I try to keep it at least half a tank. All right, I also have the upgraded 360 camera on the vehicle, which is great. I'm able to see the 360 view of the vehicle, and when I put the vehicle in drive, I can also see the front view of the surroundings, and same thing when I put the vehicle in reverse as well. So love this camera. If you don't have this on your vehicle, this is a must-have. If you don't have it, you don't know what you're missing out on. And of course, the rear cross traffic alert lets me know when there's any moving vehicles nearby as well. And of course, if I try backing out, it'll actually brake the car, so that way it avoids any collision with anything behind me. So that's kind of a cool thing. I like that it shows me which direction that the cars are coming from as well. Now, since we're down here, a lot of people have had, I guess, some issues with how to engage your vehicle in drive, which is pretty easy. It just takes practice. All you have to do is make sure your foot's all the way down on the brake. If it's not, then it won't let you change gears. So my foot's all the way down on the brake. Always make sure that you shift left for neutral. Once you're neutral, you can move up for reverse, or you can move down for drive, or you can move down for a manual transmission. I don't use this very often, but if you do, you can do that. And always remember to push P for park. Pretty easy to use. Once you get the hang of it, it gets easier, I promise. Now, a cool thing in here is that, now this doesn't have the adjustable cup holder that the RX does, but this actually has this little rubber pad. So let's say the cup holders get a little bit dirty, you're able to pull this thing out so you can clean it and then just wipe it down. So that's a pretty cool thing that they thought about. And I'll just put this back in here, if I can get it in. There we go. All right. Now down here we have our traction control and then trail mode. This vehicle is all-wheel drive, so you are able to do some light off-roading in the vehicle. Haven't actually taken it off-roading, and I don't plan to, so if I ever do, I'll let you guys know. Brake hold feature works great. I've had that on my previous NX. Now, the one thing I really hate about this vehicle is the auto start-stop off switch. I'm constantly having to turn this off, only because when I turn off the vehicle and turn it back on, you have to turn it off. And then once you see that orange light, that lets you know that the vehicle will no longer shut off the engine whenever you're at a stoplight. I wish there was a way to manually override this so it'll be off permanently. It's just one of those things they're coming out with to save you more gas. Obviously, if I had this on, I'd probably be saving more gas, but I like to have my power whenever I need to use it. And as you can see, this car has the gloss black trim right here, which I am actually not too crazy about. When it looks clean, it looks great, but half the time it's always covered in fingerprints. And I wish they at least came up with something like this aluminum trim that they have on the door panel. I wish they integrated this right here. It is so hard to keep this clean because it always has dust and fingerprints, and I'm always having to wipe this down. That's something I wish they could have done to make it a little bit more easier and user-friendly. But that's just my thoughts. The last thing that we have is the downhill assist control, which I've never really had to use, and the parking brake that's right here. Now, one thing I want to show you right here is that, of course, this opens up in both directions, but I actually bought a tray or storage to actually put stuff in here, so that way it utilizes the storage on top of the vehicle. I have some little knickknacks that I just place right here, and then below that, I have additional storage for anything else that I want to put down here. So pretty much I just have a bunch of pens that are in there if I do need to use that. If I can get this thing back in here. I actually bought this on eBay, so if I do have that link, I'll put it in there as well so you guys can check it out. It was fairly reasonable, so I definitely recommend this if you want to maximize your storage in here. Now up here we do have our standard rear view mirror, and of course this doesn't have the digital rear view mirror, but believe it or not, for 2023 when Lexus came out with the NX for any updates, they actually added a digital rear view mirror as an option on the Sport package. That was the only update they came out for 2023 NXs. There's no new colors, no new interiors or trims. That's the only update, is that you can now get a digital rear view mirror on the Sport package. It would have been nice if they included some other colors, but that's a whole other topic I'll eventually get into. Now, another cool thing that you have on here is that this is your Lexus Safety Connect on the vehicle. Now, starting in, I believe, 2022, vehicles with, I guess, the new Lexus interface now get Safety Connect free for 10 years. That includes your roadside assistance package, and if you need to call them for an emergency, they're able to dispatch fire, police, or medical assistance directly to your location at no charge for the first 10 years. And of course, if you get a flat tire, that's also included in the roadside assistance. So that's a pretty cool thing to have in here. I don't know if I'll keep the car for 10 years, but if I do, I'll definitely know that I can use this. So that's something to give you peace of mind. And another thing is that since Lexus discontinued 3G services on older models, they're trying to, I guess, make up for all those older models that have no longer access to Safety Connect on the cars. Now, of course, this is the sunglass holder up here. I do find that whenever I do put my sunglasses in here, that sometimes it rattles when I'm driving, which kind of surprised. I don't know if this actual case is loose. I may have to get that checked, but that's pretty minor. So above that, I do have the upgraded panoramic moonroof, which slides all the way back. So let me go ahead and open the shade. Now the shade switch is going to be right here, so let's go ahead and do that. So once I hold it, it'll slide it, and then I can just watch it go all the way back. There we go. And then if I want to slide the roof, I'll just hold down the other switch, and it'll slide the roof about halfway back. Given that this is Texas weather, I don't typically open this because it gets pretty hot in here. And if I want to, I can also tilt the roof as well. So I'm going to go ahead and close the roof. And then if I want to tilt it, I just hold down the other switch that's right here. I like tilting the roof, but I don't typically like having it all the way back when it's hot out here. So for now, I'll just go ahead and close that. What I love about the rear tailgate on the NX is that, of course, with these beautiful LED taillights, it features a new Lexus rear badging. And this is going to be the new design on the rear end of the Lexuses. I actually had a few people that asked me if I pasted these and glued them on my rear bumper. I'm just like, why would I do that? That's so bizarre that someone would ask me that. But no, I did not glue them. This is from the factory. This is going to be the new design coming forward. So guys, if you don't know, this is what it's going to look like on all the new Lexus models in the future. Now, another thing that I really love about the cargo area is that it features the easy hands-free kick sensor that is now easy for you to open and close the tailgate of the vehicle. So easy just to have your key fob in your pocket. All I have to do is kick right under the rear bumper. I don't have to guess where my foot's going whenever I'm using it, and it makes it pretty easy to get in and out that way. Now on my car, I do have the manual folding rear seats, the cargo cover, and the carpet mat since I have the all-weather mats in the front. It's been great having all this trunk space. I actually moved recently, so it's been helpful, especially since I have all the additional space that's down here as well. Since this car has run flat tires, it actually gives you additional storage that's down here as well. So that's been a welcome addition. The only thing I would change back here is that I wish this car had the illuminated scuff plates. I've seen that on a few Sport models. I'll probably have to order these because I haven't seen some recently, but I'm sure Lexus offers these to buy online. So that's one thing I'll probably add in the future. And of course, the left one is used to close the tailgate, and the right one is used to close and lock the tailgate. That way you don't have to go back and lock it from the doors. Now, I also want to mention that when I did purchase this vehicle initially, it did not come with crossbars, but I did purchase this after the fact, and it's been great. I don't actually use these. This is really just for an aesthetic purpose. But the funny thing about these is that when I bought my car, my coworker actually bought the exact same car right after me in the same color, and she also put the crossbars on top of her car. So we have the same color car, and now we both have crossbars on our cars. So I'm just like, oh wow, she copied me. So, I mean, granted, it's a beautiful looking car, so it's hard to not love this color. Hey guys, so here is the same car that my coworker drives. So I think it's so funny because we like to park right next to each other at work just to show off that we drive the same exact car. Now, the only difference between her car and my car is that hers has the standard LED headlights, and then mine has the upgraded triple beam LED headlights, which I did really want on my car. You may also notice mine's a little bit cleaner, but I actually put a ceramic coating on here, so it makes it a little bit more shiny, and it's a lot more reflective, especially when it's in the sunlight as well. So that makes a little bit of a difference, just in case you're looking at having a shinier painted coat on your vehicle. Now, hers is also missing the Mark Levinson audio system, so it's just going to have the standard audio system on this one. But mine is going to have the upgraded 17 speaker Mark Levinson audio system, and I did have this as an option as well. So really, these are really the only differences between hers and mine, and of course she has her crossbars on her car, and then really the backs are pretty much nearly identical as well. So yeah, other than my custom plate and my sticker, it's pretty much identical. So she's actually thinking about maybe upgrading to an RX, so she may not even keep her car. Hers has a lot less miles on it. I think she's at 10,000 and I'm at 23 or 24,000, one of those. So that's the cars. So here we are. Alright guys, now in this portion of the video, I'll be making some general comparisons on the 2022 NX350 Sport that I have versus the new 2023 RX350 Luxury. Now obviously these are both completely different trim levels and packages, but I'm just going to be making some general comparisons on what I like about the new RX. Now obviously if you see the new RX, this is the new Lexus spindle body grille design that they're coming out with, and this is eventually going to be on all the new Lexus products in the future. Mine still has the traditional spindle grille, which they haven't really changed on the NX, but on the RX, they're kind of reintroducing that on here. It's also going to have the upgraded triple beams on luxury package, And of course, mine has the same thing. And this is probably a vehicle that I would be interested in buying in, if I'm being honest, just because I love the new iridium exterior. It's so beautiful to look at. I really wish they offered this color on the NX. I'm really surprised that it's only available in atomic silver. If they had iridium on the NX350 F Sport with a red interior, I would trade in this car tomorrow. I just love silver. I've always been partial to this beautiful color that is so gorgeous on this car. So let's check out the back. So of course, it's going to feature very similar rear tailgates. Obviously, it has the new Lexus design on the back, and it has the full LED rear tail lights as well. So what do you guys think? Do you prefer the NX or the RX? Obviously, the RX is going to be a little bit bigger in size, but the NX is a little bit more compact. Now, the reason why I was considering an RX was because I like the idea that it's a little bit bigger. I'm able to fit more stuff in the back. And on this interior, on the luxury package, it also includes ultra suede trim that's on the luxury package. So it's that extra level of comfort that you get on this trim. And you also can see it's also going to be on your door panel as well. Now, of course, you're going to get the upgraded 14-inch display on the luxury package, and the seats are really comfortable. That's what I love about this as well. The only thing I will say is that one pet peeve that I do have on the new RX is that there is no drive mode select dial. You have to do it manually through the screen. So I'm going to have to go into vehicle and then drive mode to do my drive mode from the screen, which I wish there was an easy way to do that. That would drive me crazy if I had this car, but I guess they're going to transition eventually from moving all the controls away from the screen. Now, this also has the advanced remote parking package, which is only available on the NX Luxury, and you also have a 360 camera. This model also has the upgraded digital review mirror, and of course that's only available on certain NXs with a certain trim package. So I love the interior. It has a great size. I just feel like the price point is a little bit up there for me. If I'm looking at the price of this vehicle is at $61,000 for the luxury package. Now, my car is not too far from that. It's about $56,000, but that's kind of going way up there considering that you don't even get Mark Levinson as standard, and that's what my car has versus what this one has. So in comparison, while I do really like the RX, I think I'm going to wait as of now to see in the future if it comes down off the price, and eventually maybe I'll get into an RX. But for now, I really like my NX. It has everything that I want, and that's why I did wait longer for this vehicle, because it has every single option that you can get on this car. So besides the size, RX is going to be bigger, NX will be smaller, but what do you guys think? Which one do you guys like? They're both great cars, and if I were to get one, it would be a luxury in iridium, or F Sport in iridium. But all the interior electronics are pretty much the same for the navigation, so that's all the same. Wireless Apple CarPlay standard, 14-inch display is an upgrade depending on which trim level you get. And then now this one's also going to have the upgraded driver's attention monitor, which will actually detect your face if you're looking out to see if you're looking past the steering wheel. If you're looking down at your phone, it'll tell you to that you're distracted, basically. I don't know how I feel about that personally, but it is a new safety feature, which I guess eventually we'll get familiar with more. So what do you guys think? Do you like the RX interior, the NX? Or do you wish that they came out with more color options? I also like my car because ultrasonic blue isn't offered on the RX, which I'm kind of surprised about, but in other markets, I believe they have ultrasonic blue on the RX, so that is a brief comparison. And here is the full sticker price of my vehicle with all the options and equipment. And you can also see that my vehicle was made in Japan as well. I don't know if full NX production has left Japan, but I do know that a lot of them are also being made in Ontario, Canada. Well guys, this officially wraps my 1 year update on my 2022 Lexus NX350 S Sport. This car has been such a great ride and I hope that I can keep it for a long time. And if you're new to my channel, my name's Kenny Bosick, and I'm a vehicle technology specialist at North Park Lexus Dominion in San Antonio, Texas. If you have any questions about this vehicle or anything else in this video, please let me know in the comments below. I try to help anyone that I can that has questions or issues or has questions about even ordering a new vehicle. So we can always help you out with that process as well. So let me know what I can do and I'll try my best to help you guys out. Well guys, thank you again for helping me hit 15,000 subscribers, and I appreciate every one of you that's helped me gone this far with my YouTube channel. I never thought so many people would be so interested in my videos, but it's nice to know that there's people out there that appreciate the content that I post. So anyways guys, I hope you guys have a great day, and thanks again for watching.